Welcome back to Mission Impossible Mondays, where I review a Mission Impossible movie every Monday leading up to the release of the new movie. This week we got Mission Impossible 5, aka Rogue Nation. In this movie we have Ethan Hunt going after the Syndicate. However, he's doing it by himself because in the very beginning of the movie, the CIA essentially has the IMF disbanded because they're just essentially reckless without structure given the past incidents that happened in the previous 4 movies. So the IMF gets disbanded, and the IMF is also after Ethan Hunt because Ethan Hunt doesn't want to turn himself in, and they also think that he is crazy because he's going after the Syndicate, who is never heard of up until this point. So there's that. But Ethan Hunt has to go after the Syndicate by himself, and he does so for a certain amount of time, for about 6 months, kind of off camera. And then 6 months later we're reintroduced to Ethan Hunt, who has, I guess, all this information off the Syndicate. But he has to recruit the help of Benji to help him find this guy, the lead guy of the Syndicate, who turns out to be Solomon Lane. And the Syndicate turns out to be comprised of ex-government operative officials that were presumed dead but now working with the Syndicate. And the Syndicate is essentially an anti-IMF, where instead of performing impossible missions to save the world, they're performing impossible missions to essentially destroy the world and corrupt the world. So there's that. We're also introduced to we're introduced to Ilsa Faust, who is in future movies, but in this movie she plays a crucial role because she's a British intelligence agent who's deep undercover under the Syndicate. But we don't really know if she's with Ethan, against Ethan, because she kind of betrays Ethan a couple times, but she also betrays the Syndicate a couple times because she's a British informant agent. So it's wait, is she helping the British government? Is she helping Lane? Is she helping Ethan Hunt? So there's that. But by the end of the movie, they capture Solomon Lane. Also, Benji almost got exploded because there was a bomb strapped to his vest because he got captured. Anyways, he didn't get exploded, so that's really good. So Benji's alive. By the end of the movie, they end up capturing Solomon Lane, and I guess he ends up being unalived in a box, which is significant because that's kind of what happened in the very beginning of the movie, where Ethan Hunt gets, I guess, captured. So there was that. Anyways, I guess tune back in for next week, where we do Mission Impossible 6, and I think that's where Henry Cavill is in that movie. So there's that. But I really like this movie because of the action. Mission Impossible tasks are really cool. It's coherent to the last movie because it focuses on the Syndicate. We were introduced to the Syndicate in the last movie, so there's that. I really like that. Also, Tom Cruise hangs off the side of a cargo plane in the very opening sequence of the movie, so that was really cool.